Yeah,
you need to know like how to. Well, I feel like Mr. Beast right now. So, like,
You're Taiwan's Mrs. Beast.
I'd like all of a sudden I was like, ooh. Well, honestly, I haven't even spoken about this on my own channel.
Oh.
And a lot of people have asked, like, why is it called靠右边走?
Is it a secret?
Not really anymore. And also she did a famous medicine commercial called K Hongxia.
Oh.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
I have not.
什么止痛加强肌铁加强 K Hongxia. Have you heard of it? You have.
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Even the walking is dramatic, you know? Like when we walk, we're just doing this, looking left and right? But with the TV, like TV walking is like, wow.
Yeah. Looking at everything.
And
like
I'm
they're
like,
pointing
really?
at nothing.
Really? Who walks like this?
Yeah. All right. Hi, guys. Welcome back to FUNDAY Chats. I am Wade. And as you can see, we have a completely new setup and we have a new line of guests. And our first guest here is Christina.
Hi, I'm Christina.
All right, Christina, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? What's your background? And introduce yourself.
Sorry. So my name's Christina. I am 27 years old, in case you guys wanted that little detail.
Yeah.
I've been doing YouTube for the past 3-4 years in Taiwan. And Wade is actually a friend of mine. That's why I feel actually really comfortable right now, because he's not a complete stranger.
Yep.
Can I say that?
Yeah. We're friends. Actually, let's tell the people how we met.
Okay.
It was such a cool, I think like, because for me personally, I cherish, I think, like these unique moments that kind of like, you cross paths with people and you don't know what comes out of it. But it's so cool that like our paths cross and then like now you're sitting here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So it was funny because Wade goes on a television show, which is the same one that my mom goes on. And for me, you would think like we met through the TV show, but no, I had no idea you were on the show.
Yeah.
I actually met him on Longdong. Like it was like in the north coast of Taiwan. There's lots of cliff jumping and stuff.
Yep.
And I saw him, and he was like, stereotypically speaking, I'm like, oh, you go 外国人,
I looked at you, I was like, oh, another 外国人.
Yeah. And there wasn't many that day. I think you were the only one.
We were the only ones there.
And then I heard you speaking Chinese.
Yes.
And
so I was
then
talking
like,
to your friend. I heard him speaking Mandarin.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let me show you my Mandarin.
He's probably been here for a while or something.
Yeah.
And then you knew my friend.
Well, there was a connection.
Yeah.
One of my friends knew your friend.
Yeah. And it was like, wow, Taiwan, this is when Taiwan gets really small.
Very small.
Is that
Very small.
Just know people through one person.
Yeah.
And then that's how we met.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think both of us at that point thought we were like foreigners to each other. And then later on, obviously, as we chat, we realized, oh, wait, we're both also Taiwanese.
Yeah.
Right? So actually,
I was like, I can't tell.
Yeah.
And then you were probably thinking the same thing.
Right.
I don't know.
I was like, obviously a foreigner. I thought like, oh, if she spoke Mandarin, probably because she's been here for a long, like the same thing. But it was really cool afterwards. Like obviously as we chat, we, exchange contacts and stuff. I was like, oh, wait a second. Like you're actually a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't know anything about you. But it was cool to like kind of see that. And then I remember, I think our second hangout was to kind of talk about, your YouTube, because you invited me onto like
my YouTube
channel.
Yeah. My channel.
So maybe can you tell us first, what's your channel and what's that about?
Okay. So if you guys wanted to see the video that Wade and I did, you can go to the channel Christina靠右边走, or in English, like Christina Taiwan. We did a special episode on what it's like growing up mixed race in Taiwan.
Can I quickly ask, why did you call, what was the kind of the thought behind the name?
Well, honestly, I haven't even spoken about this on my own channel.
Oh.
And a lot of people have asked, like, why is it called靠右边走?
Is it a secret?
Not really anymore.
Okay.
So, because, my dad kind of helped me out with the name. Okay. And he went to the temple. Okay. And he did the buapui,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you say that in Chinese. I don't know how you say it in English, but the buapui.
Buapui, yeah. I think everyone knows the buapui.
Yeah. And they were like, this is a good name, use it. And I was like, yeah, I guess this is, it clicks, because in Taiwan, 我们都是靠右边行.
Yes.
And in the States, it's also the same as well. Yeah. And it also makes me feel like it's kind of like me choosing to do what I feel is right.
Okay.
You know?
Wow. So that's
kind of like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
This is the right thing to do.
Because it's the right side.
Because it's the right side.
Wow.
Like, I don't know. It's just a coincidence, I guess. Okay. And then I just kept going with that. And yeah.
That's the name. And now how long ago did you start this channel?
I originally started it for my 毕业制作, my graduation project.
Yes,
this is translating in my head right now. That's why.
Right.
But yeah, I did it for my graduation project because at the time I was studying film, but I didn't have the means to be in a group full of people and spend
a
lot of money. And like I just couldn't afford it at the time because I was like 20 something, early 20s. And so I was trying to think of if there's any alternative ways that I can do a project probably by myself, if that's possible. I don't have that much money. And I feel bad to ask my parents for that help because I try to be Little Miss Independent at 20 years old.
Wow.
So they were like, you could do a YouTube channel. And the teachers suggested that I don't do it by myself because it's a lot of work.
Yes. Yeah. Everything, right? From scripting to editing to being filmed to...
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things that go on. Like, it looks like fun to most people. Like, when they watch a video, everything is set.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, the process of you have to... You're your own storyteller.
Yes.
Yeah. And you yourself are being filmed because I couldn't find anyone else to film, you know? It was me and my mom, and that's how we started.
Wow.
And then we got to the point where people recognized my mom from the show.
Okay.
And they're like, wait a second.
Yeah. Familiar.
You know, like Ouyang San the Nuer. My mom has a little bit of fame in Taiwan for doing the show, of course.
Right.
WTO sister show. And also she did a famous medicine commercial called K Hongxia.
Oh.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
I have not.
So, 止痛加强, 鸡铁加强, K Hongxia. Have you heard of it? You have.
Wow,
yeah. Okay. So, yeah, it was so these things, and she also did 一把青, A Touch of Green with Wu Kangren. It was like a very famous Taiwanese movie.
Yeah.
Pretty famous.
Okay.
But aside from this is a more modern day, like how my mom gets her film. But in the past, like I'm saying, before I was born, 27 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is probably 28 years ago.
Right.
My mom met my dad on a television show as well. It's called 五等奖. So it's like 5 Lights show.
Right.
And at that time, she was like probably the only foreigner, like blonde hair, blue eyes, singing with my dad, singing Chinese songs, like folk songs, you know?
Yeah.
So that caught a lot of attention. And my dad, he's from like Pingdong. So 他是南部人, you know? Yeah, so this girl from New York meeting a Taiwan Pingdong人, like this combination.
Yeah.
So I think it got a lot of popularity, and plus they got married afterwards. You know, it's kind of like a happily ever after type of story.
And then they had you.
They had me and my brother.
And your brother.
Yeah,
little happy family.
So for people who do know this, because in Taiwan, like back then, there was only 4 television shows.
4?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like news. And that was like the only entertainment show.
I see.
Yeah, so that's where she gained a lot of fame. And now, you know, now she's also on my channel as well.
Yes.
And we started to gain more popularity together.
Wow.
And yeah, that's just how my YouTube started. From all of this stuff, and it would just start to turn into like how our family interacts with each other.
Yeah.
People like to see what it's like having an American mom and a Taiwanese dad together. And my brother, our perspectives, why do we live apart? There's so many questions. Like, people get really nosy sometimes. They like to know everything.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're like, so do you like white guys or do you like Asian guys?
Hey, that's a great question. Do you like white guys or do you like Asian guys?
Honestly, it goes back to personality.
Yes.
But
yes.
Yeah.
Asian guys, white guys, any guy, right?
Yeah,
it's about personality.
Or girl.
Or girl. Right. It's about personality. But anyway, you were saying, so your channel basically does incorporate a lot of your personal life.
A lot of personal life, family life. I tried to shift it into some traveling, vlogging.
Yeah.
Including an episode that we did together as well. We went hiking in one of your favorite mountains.
Yep, 金面山.
Done
that hike 100 times.
You've been there like 100 times probably.
Here's the thing. I like to take friends there because I think it's a good balance where it's not extremely difficult and it's not super easy. So it's sort of at the mid-range of things.
Excitement.
Yeah, you sort of like feel like you've accomplished something, but it's also not so difficult that you can't do it. So I personally always, if people are like, hey, can we go hiking? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah. But more about like being a YouTuber, because you're okay to be calling that, right?
Yeah, I am a YouTuber.
Yeah. Okay. Because I wasn't sure.
Is that a bad thing?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
But I was curious. Do you think all YouTubers are 艺人?
艺人.
Yes.
Okay. This is the thing. Like recently in Taiwan, it's been getting so popular.
Everybody's like, 你是 I 还是 E?
你的16人格, which is the MBTI
yes.
personality thing. Everyone's like, 你很 E 耶.
对. Yeah.
I
it's like a new way of like talking. People
and you know what's
like,
funny is that no one knows what everything else means after that. They're just asking if you're an introvert or extrovert.
Yeah.
I only know the last one. Wait, what are you?
I am
J.
You're J?
Yeah.
I'm J. I'm ESFJ.
Oh, so you have the E and the J. I have the E and the J.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what is J?
Judgmental.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not judging.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not judgmental.
Okay.
Anyway, but we don't need to get into the personality test. But the whole E and I situation is like, I think that's a very popular thing because a lot of people are curious. And to me, when you watch YouTube and you think of all the big names like Mr. Beast, you think about like all these other big YouTubers, you typically associate them, and when you see them on screen, you're like, oh, there must be E people, right? 艺人, because they have to be so extroverted.
Yeah.
The way they're expressive, the way they can communicate, they must be E. So maybe first, what are you?
What am I?
Yes.
I am E. But you know how there's like a little percentage of what you are?
Yeah. Varies.
So I can be E. I feel like I am a trained E. And I think if you look up personalities, like, because I am ENFJ, I'll just put it out there. It's fine. You can judge
everybody
me all you
knows.
Want, whatever. But like according to that, they say like that's the most introverted type of extrovert.
That makes sense.
It's kind of complicated,
that makes sense.
but
okay.
I think to like talk about me, like not the gushing stuff.
Yeah.
So I had to be like, I have to learn how to be E because I love to express myself. In high school, I went to performing arts high school.
Oh, where?
So 华冈艺校.
Nice.
It's a school in Yangmingshan where they train people from high school for arts. Basically, I said it. And like to get into that school, we had to go through auditions. So at that time,
what type of auditions?
Like we had to have 2 talents.
Okay.
Each student needs 2 talents. You have to be able
Like
to
a
either
singer,
sing,
dancer.
play an instrument, dance, magic. I don't know. Someone did magic. They're like, I'm going to eat this burger in 2 seconds.
Magic.
I mean, if there's something more than that, maybe, yeah.
Okay. I have more tricks, but
Okay.
I wasn't sure. But what was your 2?
So I did singing, like 自弹自唱.
Guitar?
Yeah, guitar and singing.
Wait, you actually play the guitar?
I did at that time, but I retired.
Okay. Because I play the guitar.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh. I mean, I know like 4 chords.
Which, honestly, you can do a lot with 4 chords. Yeah.
Oh, so I did
so
that.
there's guitar, singing.
Singing and the guitar. I sang 外婆的澎湖湾.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was at Penghu. You know, I was at Penghu.
I know.
Yeah,
we. And then I also did dancing.
Nice.
Yeah, so I did those 2.
You are a talented dancer.
I do dance.
I see you on your stories and I'm very impressed.
Really?
Yeah, because
I feel
like there's some people that like say they can dance, but it's more
but
like
they do TikTok dance.
Like, yeah. And you're actually legit, I think.
Yeah, I do dance.
Yeah. So you got in.
I did get in. So that was a very interesting 3 years because we were training very professionally. Yeah, and then after that, I wanted to continue.
Is the goal basically you train so that you can get into like a dance thing or like a 演艺圈 kind of situation or what?
Yeah, I think every kid that goes to that school has like a 明星梦.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so that's when I feel that I've been influenced by my parents because they were always singing when we were at home, like as kids and stuff. So I naturally just felt, oh, singing is great. And then sometimes they would have me do the harmony, the vocals on the songs and stuff. Wow. So I did that at home. My brother doesn't really have that type of musical talent.
Okay.
But I'm just talking about like, where the genetics go
Yes.
Yeah. So my brother got more of like the instruments and stuff.
Okay.
He plays the guitar quite well.
Oh, nice.
And then I got more of the singing element. Okay. Yeah. That's
cool.
That's how it FUNDAY.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just spread.
It was that time I had to first overcome my introverted side.
Right.
I was super introverted.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
like back in the States, I was super introverted. I didn't like people knowing that my dad's from Taiwan because I just wanted to blend in like everyone else. Like, please don't pay attention to me.
When we were younger,
you don't
want the attention.
Like you don't want to be the center of attention.
Yeah,
because that's sometimes not good for you. Like if you're in a school with other kids, you know. And it was at the going into high school when I had to overcome that, and then into college I learned more of the technical aspect of art, which is editing.
Yes.
Yeah, and storytelling and all that stuff. And for my graduation project, I eventually hopped onto YouTube. But I think there's lots of ups and downs with that stuff. Like I feel like I have to be comfortable around my people to show my E side.
Right.
So sometimes when people run into me on the streets, they're like, I'm
surprised.
Not really like as outgoing as I look on camera.
Yeah.
And I'm sometimes like, why do you know me? Like, how do you know everything about me?
Yeah.
You know?
That's so funny because I guess we disconnect, what we put out there to like, just going about our day to day. So obviously people feel like they know you, especially fans, right? That has been following you for years. And I remember even when we met, there was a fan that came up to you. It is an interesting thing because like when we're sharing all these things, I think it's a little bit like what celebrities go through, right? Like we're not there, but like I think we can kind of get a sense that when people watch their videos, their movies, their interviews, they build a connection with them, but it's not reciprocated. Yeah. Right? Like it's one way.
Yeah,
so
it is one way.
You know everything about this person, you know what they like, you know where they've been, but then when you see them, they don't know you. You're just a stranger, So I get that, if you're an I person, you would feel like, wait, why are you so close?
I've thought about like I'm reflected myself. I'm like, am I being too mean to people? Like, should I be more friendly and outgoing? Like, how should I behave? I have to think about that stuff. It doesn't just come naturally.
Right. So it's interesting because I think when it comes to E and I, obviously, there's different takes on how people say what that really means. And I think it comes down to like sort of how you recharge, right? Like when you're by yourself, do you feel like that's when you recharge? Then usually that's more I people. E, like sometimes you need to be around people and then you feel recharged. But I think it's a common misconception maybe. Many of us might think, if you're a YouTuber or if you're like, on TV, then you must be this extroverted person. Yeah. And it's not always the case.
I think it's not like, I used to be kind of ashamed of being an I person. And I know I'm an I person. Like my mom and my brother, they're so outgoing. And I've always kind of looked up to that because I can't be like that. Me and my dad are more introverted. So I feel like a lot of the like times I'm like to myself, you know? Like I don't understand that. But I do understand now, like when I go out and I social with friends, there's a lot of happiness to that.
Yes.
When you're around comfortable people. Yeah. But let's say like for example, I'm starting a new show. And I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
See, there's a transitioning period.
Yes.
They basically put me directly out there.
Yeah.
I didn't have any training, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're judging me how they see me on camera.
Yes.
And so they are going to expect me to behave that way.
That way, yeah.
On the set.
But you're not familiar with them.
But, you know, there's 3 cameramen.
Wow.
And then there's a director. There's like all these different people. And aside from that, like we're in the middle of like a temple. So then there's like this ama akong and then the chuzang and then these other people doing their stuff. So I'm walking in and I'm like, you want me to act now?
Yeah. Wow.
I get so scared. Yeah, it really takes a while.
But you said you've trained, right? So like, do you feel like over the years you've tried to sort of like have a switch maybe where you have to be like, okay, now I sort of have to click and be a little bit more extroverted. Like not fake, but like perform. Because I recognize, I think maybe a lot of people don't realize when you're watching, I mean, a lot of the times we do have to sort of exaggerate our emotions, our voices.
Yeah.
It's because if we just talk like this, like we normally do, like very calm and chill, like people are like 5 seconds later, you know, they're falling asleep. So you sort of have to put it out. It's like drama, right? You have to act out much bigger to get the attention and
it's true.
convey the message.
Like if it's my own camera, I can control everything. Like, oh, I feel like I haven't acted well here. So I'll just gonna put a little picture over that and then it'll cover over and it's okay. But for the TV, like even the walking is dramatic, you know? Like when we walk, we're just doing this, looking left and right? But with the TV, like TV walking is like, wow.
Yeah. Like looking at everything.
And
like
I'm
they're
like,
pointing at nothing.
Really? Who walks like this? But actually looking back at the footage is like, oh my God, it looks natural.
Sense. Yeah.
Like how?
Yeah,
that was the most unnatural walk I've ever done.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's bring it back to like your YouTube side. So sort of, can you tell us sort of what drives you? I think, you know, like a lot of us, we have the aspiration, maybe people more and more nowadays want to be YouTubers, right? And the younger generation, they want to be influencers. And I think an important thing to really ask yourself is why?
Yeah.
Why are you wanting to do what you want to do? Because the why will carry you through, right? In the beginning, if you just do something for fun, if you're just like, I just want a quick, you know, fame, or I want a quick cash or whatever, you can do it for a little bit, but it won't last. Your why is going to continue to keep you pushing and driving you forward. So you have been doing your YouTube for quite some time.
Yes.
What's your why?
My motivation, what's pushing me, what is making me come up with all these stories.
Yeah.
I think I come in phases.
Okay.
I can say it like that. At first, the whole purpose was just for the graduation project so I can graduate.
Yeah.
But I think I'm looking back to that and it's like I wanted to be alone. Okay. I wanted to tell my own story. I didn't want to spend so much money doing it.
Oh, okay.
That was my main purpose like years ago.
Right.
And then after that, because it had some views and I was like, oh, so people are watching this?
Yeah.
Like,
they're interested.
Yeah. So I took a part-time job. I applied for some other jobs as well.
Yes, you have.
And at the same time, I was like, it's not really working out for me. Okay. So I'll just do YouTube like part-time and see where it takes me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I started going about my family and it was working as in getting views.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. So YouTube's is going to start paying me now. And now people want to sponsor me and stuff.
Wow.
And
that's
so
when you know you made it.
That's what I'm thinking, like, so is this a thing?
Yeah.
This can be a job?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I feel like I was so lucky that after I graduated, I got the luckiest job ever. And this is something I am so proud of because I'm getting paid for doing something that I love.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many memes or videos online, like 70% of people do not enjoy their job.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or even after, like, you're thinking about retirement and something, like, you don't know what you want to do.
Right.
Because you've only been given something to do.
Yeah.
You know? So
you
I
lose
think
your sense of purpose, right?
With YouTube, I found so much self-control and discipline because every single week I want to put a video out for everybody.
And on that point, I'm just very impressed that you're able to do that.
Yeah.
I know like you're on a break now, so you haven't done the videos things, but when I first heard, we were gonna do we're gonna do your channel, and that you did it every week.
Yeah.
I don't think people know how much work that takes too.
It takes a lot.
Because again, like talking from earlier, you have to script it, you have to plan, find the people, find the location, find the topic that you want to film, and then after all that's done, you still have to edit, and you're doing everything.
Yeah, subtitles.
There's so many things that goes into it. So the fact that every week you can come out with a video or come out with a topic or an idea, that's like really impressive.
Yeah, there's been like kind of like people compare me to other YouTubers, of course. There's also other mixed families or let's say foreign face looking people in Taiwan doing this type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell into that category.
Okay.
Because it's easier that way, right? And then, so some of the videos I would get inspiration from there because, I mean, one video every week.
Yeah.
It's not like I have the genie with me all the time, you know? Because I see myself as an artist. I'm a creator.
Yes.
I try not to take too much influence from other YouTubers.
Sure.
Like,
you want to be original.
I can admire them, but at the same time with YouTube, the thing that's very tricky and how you can grow is to find your own unique style.
Yeah, and I think authenticity is what people are searching for these days.
Yeah.
Like to be you.
Yeah.
Because there's only one you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's easy to copy. Like I know I've seen a lot of similar videos.
Sure.
I mean, it's my career, so I do.
You have to go through and you see many.
But yeah, that's the hard thing is like people who want to step into YouTube right now, it's like a very 饱满的市场. Yeah. So how are you going to make it now is that you need to find where you're different from everybody else, but at the same time, you have to be doing the same thing.
Yes.
So that's the tricky part to it.
So tricky.
Like I know you like your outdoor stuff. You're also half like me.
Yeah.
So you're actually good for the market.
Yeah.
Where do you start and where do you stick out?
Yeah.
But you have to follow. So I think with my motivation is that I know sometimes once I make a wave, I can probably ride that wave.
Yeah.
And it'll take me like 2-3 videos down so I can plan like every week like that.
I see.
And with the views, with the people who watch it, that's honestly my motivation.
Yeah.
That I know people are watching this and I know people are interested. And sometimes the views go down, they come up, Yeah. And it really does, it plays with people, Yeah,
I was going to say like with the view stuff, how do you feel like that affects you like mentally? Let's say okay, view is one thing, likes is one thing, but what about like comments or like negative comments? Because I'm sure no matter how perfect you might be or a video might be, somebody's gonna find faults, somebody's gonna find something bad or negative to say. So how do you kind of deal with that?
So I take it very badly.
Oh no.
I take it so badly.
Yeah.
I don't like, I mean, who likes it? You could have 100 comments saying,
that's great,
you did a
you're
great
so
job.
Good.
And then one person is like, you're shit,
Yeah.
And then that's just going to screw up your whole day.
It's
you're
psychology.
Gonna feel
it's
awful.
Psychology, yeah.
We think about that.
We get stuck on that.
So right now, what I do is I kind of just don't look at it.
Okay.
Because it helps me a lot mentally.
Yeah.
And I thought back to, like, I did look at it before. And when I did do that, I would take their opinions and I would put it in my next video. And so I would be a little too extra cautious.
Yes.
And then I noticed the views go down.
Yeah, because it's not you anymore.
Well, that's one thing. Right? But honestly, people don't want to see safe videos.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah,
you need to know, like, how to, I feel like, I don't know, Mr. Beast right now.
You're Taiwan's Mrs. Beast.
I'd like all of a sudden I was like, ooh. Okay, but yeah, that's the key. Like with the thumbnails and titles, they have to be like really spicy.
Right.
You have to be able to
draw
kind of
people
like,
in.
Yeah, and to draw people in, you need some attention.
Yeah, that's true. I realized there has to be some sort of compromise, because in the past where I'm like, I'm not going to use any of these tricks. I just want to be as real. But like, if no matter how good your message is, if nobody is seeing it, then it's not fulfilling its purpose. And I realized you have to kind of find that balance, right? Like, you're not putting out a lie, but like you're
grabbing people in.
It's called a hook, right? For a reason.
I have had many videos where I had to, the exact same video.
Yes.
I changed the thumbnail and title.
Right.
Boom. The views come in.
Because I think you mentioned that with our video, right?
Exactly. With our video, I did the exact same thing.
Thing and then
so the first one was, I can share it with you guys. It's a little strategy. But the first one was like, we hate being called, you know,
外国人 or something.
外国人，我们不是外国人，不要再叫我们外国人。
Right.
And then I changed it to, wow, look at this 外国人. And then it worked. Like all of the views came in.
Right.
It got up to
so interesting.
Was it 300,000 views?
Maybe close to it, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. And at first it was like 50,000.
Yeah. So it's interesting how just having the right thumbnail or right image will make a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I do know like a lot of creators, they do the whole A/B test, right? Like they try to see which one works better. And so it's a whole thing that you kind of have to go through. So, and I'm sure you've done that over the years, right? And slowly you can hone in your skill.
Yeah, so sometimes the negative comments, like sometimes I even take it as my thumbnail or my title, you know? Because it's like it aggravates you. It makes you angry.
Yeah.
And that causes a tension.
You're right.
Yeah, and so like you can learn from all of this as well. And also like you have to be able to take a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
Because you're one person and they don't know that and they don't know who you are. Yeah. So I've learned to like just filter out the people that don't know me. Like if you have something to say, you're going to say it to my face. Or you're going to call me on the phone, you know? You're not going to be using fake accounts and talking.
Bots.
Yeah.
See, I think the thing for me over time, because I'd like to get into the YouTube space. Currently, I'm just doing like my Instagram and stuff. But I think just in life in general, what I would encourage people, and it's hard because it's psychology. Again, we see 10 great comments, we see one negative, we're stuck on the negative. I think it's important that we recognize where we should give our attention to and who we should give our attention to, right? So people that know you, your family, your friends, your close circle, if they said like, hey, maybe you should make tweaks here, or maybe this wasn't the best thing to do in this video, then you'll be like, okay, you guys know me. Like, I will make the change. But if it's a Tom, Dick, or Harry that like nobody knows, they don't know you, they just came up and they're like, I just don't like what, and then they just commenting.
Some advice for you.
Yeah. Like it doesn't make much sense. So I feel like it's hard to do that sometimes, but like I think I've heard from like, for example, like Joe Rogan, he has, you know, one of the biggest podcasts in the world. He has a great platform, but he says he doesn't read the comments at all. But I think there's different takes and different approaches. And I think first and foremost, like it's just important to recognize that, you know, your mental health is important.
It is.
Because I know how these things can affect you over time. So again, adopt the right strategy for yourself. Some people don't look at it at all. Some people do look at it because I know that's kind of their fuel to be like, all right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to, you know, make a better video.
Yeah.
But whatever you need, I think, you know, it's different for each person, and hopefully they'll find the right way to kind of approach that.
Yeah.
But to close off here for us, I was curious to know, because you know, you shared a lot of things, and thanks for all the insights with the YouTube stuff. But let's say if you weren't a YouTuber, what do you think you'd be doing? And can I take a guess?
Okay, you could take a guess.
Would you be a dancer?
Maybe. You know, honestly,
because I think you're a good dancer.
If I don't, like, during this time that I'm taking off of YouTube, because I'm obviously busy with other things as well, but I got back into the dance studio because I have like a subscription and it's expiring, so I have to do all of this in like 2 weeks.
Wow, so a lot of dancing. I've been in the
dance studio for like so long,
yeah,
and like it's expired now, and
okay.
I'm out and stuff. But I'm thinking like, wow, that's a lot of fun, and there's so much purpose in that.
Yeah,
like I was doing like Broadway dance in high school.
Okay.
So we learned like Cats or Les Miserables.
Okay.
Les Miserables.
Oh yeah. Les Miserables. Yeah.
We also did learned High School Musical, Mamma Mia.
Wow.
Learned all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And my grandparents, they live in New Jersey, but we're like really close to New York. So when I remember for my 16th birthday, my grandma took me to watch The Phantom of the Opera.
Broadway?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like
apparently
a birthday
that
gift.
show is no longer.
Yeah,
it's off Broadway. So
it used to be one of the longest running shows.
That's amazing.
And we saw the chandelier fall and everything. That for me was like over 10 years ago. Wow. So I don't remember all the details about that as well. But yeah, like I just felt like that would be a fun career to do, like dancing, doing showcases.
Wait, so am I right? If you weren't a YouTuber, you think you'd do dance?
I think there's a lot of things that I would pursue.
Okay.
Dance is probably one of them that I would like to do because it's also like really free. And I think one of the biggest things I got out of YouTube was my freedom.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very nice for me. I love my job. I love my freedom and that it pays me.
Yeah.
And so maybe something related to this.
Yeah.
Something that can pay me, give me freedom. Yeah. So dancing would be one of them. I also thought about psychology as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm really big into the human mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. So
it's fascinating.
But right now I'm glad doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're good at it. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try to be.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to come back really fresh, I hope.
Good. Because I know that obviously, doing anything, I think, in the entertainment industry, it can burn you out.
Yes.
Well, in any job, really. But I know that it can be. So I think it's also important sometimes we recognize that in ourselves. We give ourselves space. We give ourselves time. And we'll be better for it, right? And so the audience that love to see your content, I'm sure they'll understand. I'm sure they, are along with you on the journey. And so, yeah, we appreciate you also coming in and
of course.
allowing us to be a part of the journey.
Seeing an old friend.
Yeah. So, well, that is for this episode, but we will talk a little bit more about our identity in the next episode.
Yeah.
So
stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that. But thank you for this time, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.